this quick video about explaining if you want to learn Igbo, it's like an effort thing. But, you know, I'm not saying to go 100% all out each day studying Igbo for like hours even. I would even say study Igbo past 30 minutes. But I would say, okay, if you're like a beginner, you want to learn to be like the alphabet, the numbers, all of that, the tones and all of that. But if you like have a general understanding, like most Igbo teenagers in the USA do, like certain words and all that, I'll say build your vocabulary, learn how to make sentences and all of that, and especially fix your tones because the way some of you guys say stuff is the reason why some Igbo people don't take you seriously because Igbo is not like English and it's a tonal language. So if you just lazy up your voice and stuff, you'll say a whole different word or a word that doesn't even exist. So, but I'll say like it's mostly about putting effort in. You have to put a lot of effort into it. I'll say as when you're starting off, like I wouldn't be trying to make conversations and intellectual discussions in Igbo, unless you're that advanced. If you are, I clap for you, even though I doubt you are. But if you're like learning off, like you have to start replacing simple English phrases you use, replace them with Igbo phrases. Like if you're talking like you with your kids, not your kids, your friends, simple phrases like no problem. Instead of saying in English, no problem, say so bad, so bad. Simple stuff like that is just what helps you get better at the language. If you keep on saying the simple things like give me that or no problem, how are you, the simple things with your friends and stuff, you're not helping really. So like start off with like simple and so bad. Please, you say biko. Don't say one phrase. Just try to don't say one word. Just try to say phrases like simple things like you know, ichoya, icholoya, simple stuff, that you can just practice your Igbo, then you build your way up as all of you guys. I'll say it's best to learn with your friends because you try to learn it by yourself. I mean, me, I learned it with my grandma and stuff and uncles, and I had people that I could go to and ask questions all the time, and I was really interested in it. That's how I kind of picked up fast, and it was kind of easy because I've been taking like Spanish since like 11, since I was 11 years old, and I was taking like some what is equivalent to high school honors Spanish at like 8th grade. So learning languages was kind of interesting, but Spanish was useful, so I kind of Spanish was useless, so I kind of dropped it. And learning Igbo is like it's a very confusing language. I wouldn't say you can learn it like in Spanish. Just pick up a book, read it, and pick it up like that. You have to make a whole bunch of mistakes, have people correct your mistakes, talk to people who are fluent in the language, have them explain. You have to have different views because there's so many dialects. You could say this is how you say one thing, and this dialect you say one thing, and the other is a whole different phrase. Like you have to learn the rules, the structures, all of that. Like for example, you could say like when you learn the Igbo, you say, oh, you like for example, I'll say as a beginner, you learn on how to say like who are you and all that. Like for example, you might think that to say who are you is kedo onye Igbo, and you think, oh, that's the only way. No, you could say onye ki Igbo onye, all of that stuff. So you have to learn like the different perspectives, so you can kind of put it together. Like, oh, that's how you do that. It's like sometimes you can find like 10 different ways to say the same thing. So I'll say pick up on that first. Practice with your friends. Practice with your families. I mean, to be honest, the best solution for all of this would have been for the Igbo parents to speak Igbo to us as when we were little in the first place. But I don't know the story behind all of that, so I can't really speak for them. But that would have been the easiest thing. But if not, practice with your mom, your dad. I mean, I spoke Igbo to my mom, my dad when I was learning around like 14. I would say I started learning or picking up interest in learning Igbo. Being able to speak it super well, I'll say 17. 17. Like I said, had a good knowledge in Igbo to be able to construct any sentence I want for the yeah, construct a majority of the sentences. Even though at 17, I'll say my accent was too Chicago influenced, and towards like 18, I learned how to cut it off a lot. And now I'm 19, I can say I speak Igbo. I mean, I can, besides like politics and stuff, I'm pretty much speak Igbo. What I'm trying to do now is just learn like how to like construct proverbs and all of that, and just improve on my Igbo knowledge. I would say learn words. I mean, I know a lot of nouns and all of that, verbs, all of that. Learning dialects, and when I was saying you have to really put an effort. If you know how the brain works. When you start thinking of something for a long time, the neurons and all that create that line, and it gets stronger at times. So, if you're trying to learn Igbo and you like say kedu one day, 4 weeks later you're trying to speak Igbo, you probably not mind. You just know kedu, and you can't really build off nothing like that. But if you're consistent each day, I would say like I had an Igbo dictionary. I used to open up the dictionary, look at one word, look at that word, say it about 10 times, and then next thing I knew, I'll wake up the next morning, look for that word. I'll see if I remember that word, and most of the time I did, and that's a new noun, and do that for like 2 months. Look at that, I just learned like 60 something, like 62 words, 60 words right there. So that's something simple. I'm not trying to say you should study Igbo and stuff. Obviously, you have school and all of that, but I mean, like 5 minutes, 2 minutes of your day, you look at a word, you look at the dictionary, you see, oh, you see, Mary is water, you say, Mary, Mary, Mary. All that, if you say it wrong, Mary, 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 just pronounce it, you say, Mary. So you just pronounce, to wake up the next day, Mary is water. It'll be pretty much in your head. And each time you want to say something in water, you think, Mary. You with your mom, your dad, your grandma, and all of that. You go, Nyam, Mary, all of that. It'll come to you at time. It's an effort. It's not a language like French or Spanish. You pick it up and it's like pretty solid that you can learn it easily. Like you can want to learn Spanish, you can easily learn Spanish, and like if you put like a super big effort in like a year and a half, like easily. But Igbo is not like that. If you don't put an effort into it, you're gonna forget a lot of things, and you just won't know. You'll be at loss for words, and you have to get your tongue adjusted to it, because it's not a language you can just speak like that. You gotta practice adjusting to it, switching tones, all of that, going high, low, all of that. And it's not easy. I'm not gonna say it's an easy language, but you're gonna have to practice it. So it's an effort thing.